Honorable Reagan Evans presiding. While court's in session, there's no reading, walking, talking, driving, eating, smoking. When your name is called, please give your full and undivided attention to the court. Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, good morning. This is the People versus Carlos Durham. Ticket number 20397-842. Count 1, drove out license not valid or improper license. Ticket number SP115463. Count 1, drove out license not valid or improper license. And it looks like we're here for a review on ticket number U40128517. The conviction is disorderly conduct. Good morning, please say your name to the record.
I'm here, Your Honor. My name is Carlos. My name is Carlos of the Durham family, and I'm here as executor of the estate name.
The video opens by introducing a sovereign citizen who identifies himself as an American state national and chooses to represent himself in court. This decision immediately sets the tone, as pro-se representation requires a solid understanding of law and procedure. Instead of preparing a legal defense, the defendant relies on internet-based sovereign citizen talking points. These arguments have consistently failed in real courts. From the very beginning, the narrator makes it clear that this case will demonstrate how such beliefs collapse under actual legal scrutiny. The court is formally called into session, signaling that this is a legitimate legal proceeding, not a debate forum. The defendant, however, does not treat it that way.
Missed this matter.
You can't appoint me as a trustee. I'm not the trustee on this matter. I'm the judge of this matter. And we're not dealing with any beneficiaries or any of that. You're dealing with a defendant. And it's my understanding that you are Carlos Durham and you're the defendant in this matter.
Do I have a right to subrogation? Does the prosecutor give me the right to subrogation? Do I have a right to subrogation?
I don't even know what that is. What's subrogation?
I require subrogation.
What is that?
You don't know what subrogation is, Your Honor?
I don't.
Okay. Are these proceedings being recorded?
The judge begins by reading the charges, which include driving without a valid license and reviewing a prior case. This is standard courtroom procedure meant to ensure transparency and due process. The charges are straightforward traffic violations under city and state law. There is no confusion or hidden agenda at this stage. The court is simply clarifying why the defendant is present. However, instead of acknowledging the charges, the defendant prepares to derail the process. This moment shows how routine legal proceedings can become chaotic when someone refuses to engage with reality.
Member of the bar.
For the record, please present your bond and oath of office to the court. Is the prosecution bonded for this matter?
The prosecutor is not present right now, Mr. Durham, but I don't have to do that. So
I'm here at special appearance, and I'm here for the purposes of demurrer. All rights reserved under my full God-given name, Carlos Lorenzo Durham, as indicated by this birth certificate.
Mr.
Right
Durham,
here.
Mr. Durham,
I am also.
When asked to state his name for the record, the defendant refuses to identify himself in a legally recognized way. He claims to be Carlos of the Durham family, acting as an executor and beneficiary of a fictional estate. This is a classic sovereign citizen tactic designed to separate the individual from the legal person named in court documents. Courts have repeatedly ruled that this distinction has no legal standing. By refusing to acknowledge his identity as the defendant, he immediately undermines his own position. The judge calmly clarifies that the court is dealing with the named defendant, not imaginary legal constructs.
Mr. Durham, everything that you're stating does not apply to this court, sir.
So the Supreme Court and the Constitution doesn't apply to this court? What jurisdiction is this court operating under? Common law or admiralty jurisdiction?
The defendant repeatedly demands subrogation without demonstrating any understanding of what the term means. Subrogation is a legal concept most commonly used in insurance law, not criminal or traffic cases. When asked to explain it, the defendant cannot do so. This exposes the core problem with sovereign citizen arguments. They rely on buzzwords rather than substance. Legal terms are not magic spells. They require proper context and application. The court is under no obligation to educate the defendant on misused legal concepts. This moment highlights how misinformation spreads online and collapses in real courtrooms.
Which jurisdiction is this court operating under?
Neither. We're operating under state law. And the
so
law
it's operating under statutory? Is it operating under statutory jurisdiction, Judge? Because if it is, I need to know the rules and procedures for statutory so I can defend myself. Could you tell me where I can find a copy of that?
Mr. Durham, we're operating under the law of the city. These are city ordinances, and these are misdemeanors.
Those are not laws, ma'am. I'm American State National, ma'am.
Mr. Durham, these are your options today. This is, one is already set for a review because it looks like you already made admissions. It looks like you pled guilty to one charge.
I didn't plead guilty to nothing. I didn't plead guilty to nothing, ma'am. I didn't plead guilty to nothing, ma'am. A judge was operating.
Mr. Durham.
Defendant begins demanding the judge's oath of office and bonding information. This is another well-known sovereign citizen tactic rooted in conspiracy theories rather than law. Judges and prosecutors are not required to present personal bonding documents to defendants on demand. These demands have no relevance to jurisdiction or guilt. The court correctly explains that such requests do not apply to the proceeding. Instead of helping his case, the defendant wastes time and damages his credibility. Courts operate on law, not imagined contractual obligations.
Can work, we both can't talk at the same time. So you need to be respectful and let me say what I need to say. I've let you say what you needed to say. So you need to let the court speak now. So you've already pled guilty, sir, in 2017. Or no, your plea date actually was October 4th, it looks like. And you were charged with offer to engage the services of another for an act of prostitution. It was amended to disorderly conduct. And so we're here for a review on that matter.
The defendant insists he is making a special appearance and is merely a beneficiary, not the defendant. In modern U.S. courts, special appearances are limited and do not exempt someone from jurisdiction. You cannot opt out of the legal system by declaring a status. The judge makes it clear that these claims are irrelevant. The defendant's refusal to accept this reality keeps him trapped in circular arguments. This section demonstrates how sovereign ideology creates false confidence while offering zero legal protection.
And then there's another drove while license not valid or improper license charge with the offense date of January 14, 2021. Now, today, you can either set these for, they're already set for a pre-trial. So you can set this for a trial, which it could be a bench trial, where the court, meaning the judge, myself, would decide if you're guilty or not of these offenses, or you can set it for a jury trial. Those are your options, sir.
So my option today is not to challenge jurisdiction, because when jurisdiction is challenged, everything must stop and jurisdiction must be presented. You must prove your jurisdiction, and I'm challenging it right now.
The defendant repeatedly asks whether the court is operating under common law, admiralty law, or statutory law. This question is rooted in a misunderstanding of how jurisdiction works. Municipal and state courts operate under statutory authority granted by state constitutions and laws. Admiralty law applies to maritime matters, not traffic violations in Detroit. The judge correctly explains that the court has jurisdiction because the alleged offenses occurred within city limits. Jurisdiction does not vanish because a defendant refuses to acknowledge it. This is a fundamental legal principle the defendant fails to grasp.
Ma'am, I'm incorrect. Your oath of office says you're supposed to uphold the Constitution and all laws pursuant. The Constitution says I have rights, and you're not giving me, you're violating my rights by not telling me what jurisdiction we're operating under. Prove your jurisdiction, ma'am.
I'm not violating your rights, Mr. Durham.
Prove your jurisdiction, ma'am.
I don't have to prove my jurisdiction.
So yes, you do, because jurisdiction, when it asks to be proven, must be proven. If you're exerting authority over me, you must prove your authority. Prove your jurisdiction, ma'am.
Mr. Durham, what we'll do what we'll do is we'll set this for a jury trial. And so
I want a jury of my peers. I'm an American state national, so I get 6 American state.
The defendant claims he never pleaded guilty to anything, using double negatives that contradict his own statement. Court records show that he previously pleaded guilty to a reduced charge of disorderly conduct. This plea replaced a more serious prostitution-related charge. The judge relies on official records, not personal opinions. This moment exposes how denial and poor communication further damage the defendant's credibility. Courts operate on documented facts, not rewritten personal narratives.
Information so I can make sure you are who you say you are and who you claim to be and what your duties and responsibilities are. All public officials must be bonded. I need all of y'all for full disclosure. Am I getting full disclosure right now, ma'am? I need full disclosure before I can make any decisions.
I've told you all that. So
no, you did not tell me all that. I need the name and the address of your bonding company and your policy number to make sure your oath of office is current. I need all of that.
That doesn't apply here, Mr. Durham.
Really now? The law doesn't apply to you. You're above the law is what you're saying.
So I'm going to set this for a jury trial, sir. What I'll do is, do you want to retain your own attorney or are you going to represent yourself?
Ma'am, I'm only here for the one purpose of subrogation. Nobody has given me nothing what I asked for, but you keep.
The judge clearly explains the defendant's options: a bench trial or a jury trial. This is a key moment of due process. The court is offering him full legal rights despite his disruptive behavior. Instead of choosing calmly, the defendant again attempts to challenge jurisdiction. This shows that the court is patient and procedural, while the defendant is confrontational and unfocused. Legal rights must be exercised properly to be effective.
Durham, you are here as a defendant. You're not here as a
No, I'm not here as a defendant, ma'am.
Beneficiary.
I'm here as a beneficiary, ma'am.
You cannot come here and tell me how it's going to work. That is not how it goes.
So I need full disclosure. Am I getting full disclosure?
Absolutely.
Yes or no?
Yes.
What jurisdiction is this court operating under? Common law or admiralty jurisdiction? Which jurisdiction is this court operating under? Statutory jurisdiction?
The jurisdiction of the city of Detroit.
Is that statutory? Is that statutory? Because the city of Detroit don't get to overrule the Supreme Court or the Constitution. And it says if it tries to do that, everything you do is null and void. The Constitution overrules the law of the land, and that's what I'm under.
In order to be heard by the Supreme Court, Mr. Durham, you have to first go through the district court. And
no, ma'am, that's not true. That's not true, ma'am.
Agree with it, then you can appeal it. But as of now,
I asked to see the lawyer's bond. I asked to see the attorney's bond. I asked to see the contract you have, so I can.
Do you want to retain your own counsel, Mr. Durham? He's muted. We'll just, it just looks like that you're supposed to pay the fine of $50. So we'll just have you pay that on the next day, by the next time you come back, which will be January 17th. So you need to pay the $50 by January 17th at 8:35, which is your next court date. And then your jury trial date is February 7th at 1:35. All right, so you are all set, Mr. Durham.
Mr. Durham is saying something, but he's still muted.
Mr. Durham, you are muted, sir. I don't know if you know how to unmute yourself. It's the bottom left-hand corner.
I object to these proceedings.
Your objection is noted, Mr. Durham. So you got your jury trial date, and then you have your pre-trial date, the final pre-trial.
Okay, when is the prosecution going to send me all the evidence, including the witness, the damaged property, and the injured party's name? I need to know everybody involved. I need all this information.
Of course you do. Mr. Durham, what that is called discovery. And you have to do a request in writing for your discovery.
Ma'am, I'm not part of your society. I don't have to follow those rules and regulations because you can't tell me where to find the rules and regulations for statutory jurisdiction. Where can I find a copy of the rules and procedures for statutory jurisdiction? Because that's what you're operating under, statutory law, right? A statutory jurisdiction. Where can I find the rules for that?
The defendant demands a jury of American state nationals, completely misunderstanding the meaning of a jury of peers. In law, a jury of peers means ordinary adults from the community, not members of a self-declared group. Defendants do not get to select jurors based on ideology. This request further demonstrates how sovereign citizen beliefs distort basic legal concepts. The court does not entertain this demand and proceeds according to established law.
So whatever she has, she can email it to you so that you can prepare for trial.
Are you going to give me your oath of office and bonding information? That's including the name, address, and policy number of your bond? Are you going to give me that?
I don't even know what all of that is.
Your public officials surety bond, just in case you violate my rights. All public officials must be bonded. You don't know what a bond is?
No, I don't.
I'm gonna write the treasurer, and they're gonna tell me the name of your bonding company. I'm gonna write the treasurer.
Myself, so I'm giving.
So you're not bonded. So you're not bonded, is what you're saying.
I've given you all the information that you need.
Okay.
This hearing, so you are all set, Mr. Durham. Unless you had other questions, you are all set, sir.
Yeah, I do have questions, but you won't answer them. You won't answer none of my questions. Are you operating under a statutory jurisdiction, a common law jurisdiction, or admiralty jurisdiction?
This matter is concluded, so you're all set.
Oh, so okay, I understand now. The bully tactic. Don't nobody want to answer questions, but they want me to comply with. I don't understand that. How am I?
The defendant insists on full disclosure, demanding bonds, contracts, and policy numbers. These demands have no legal basis in a traffic case. Full disclosure does not mean unlimited access to irrelevant documents. The judge repeatedly explains that none of this applies. This section shows how the defendant mistakes legal theatrics for legal strategy. Instead of focusing on evidence or defense, he pursues imaginary violations.